In the quiet village of Oduama, there lived a tiny maiden named Omasi. She was so thin that even children were bigger than her. Her face was rough, her skin was dull, and her nose was crooked like it was tired of being on her face. Omasi lived with her stepmother and sister. Her parents was late. People never allowed her to rest. When she walked to the stream, other young ladies would burst into laughter the moment they saw her. Look at her. Who will marry this one? Even spirits will reject her. She is so tiny, maybe the wind will blow her away one day. Their laughter followed her everywhere like a shadow. When she bent to fetch water, they would purposely splash her, pretending it was a mistake. At the market, it was even worse. Women selling yams would hiss loudly. Men drinking palm wine would laugh and point. Children would run after her shouting, "Ugly! Tiny! Ugly! Tiny!" No man greeted her. No one wanted to walk beside her. Even her own relatives treated her like a burden. Omasi tried to be strong, but every day felt like a storm pressing on her chest. Whenever Omasi's stepmother, Amasapas, came out of the hut, she would laugh at her. Her laugh was sharp and cruel, echoing across the compound like a warning to everyone. Look at you, Omasi. Still so tiny and ugly. Even the chickens will ignore you. Omasi would shrink under her words, wishing the ground would swallow her whole. When the villagers gathered for Mary's dance, a grand festival where everyone showed off their beauty and grace, Omasi was always left out. Her stepsister, Chism, would step forward dressed in bright, elegant cloth, beads glittering in the sunlight. All eyes would follow Chism. She would twirl and laugh, and every man and woman in the village would admire her. Then Chism would look at Omasi and sneer. "Don't come near us. You will ruin our dance. Stay away when we are counting the maidens. You don't belong here." Omasi's heart would sink, and she would stand at the edge of the crowd, ignored, humiliated, and painfully aware of the laughter that followed her wherever she went. No matter what she did, how hard she tried to fetch water neatly, carry firewood without spilling, or help around the village, she could never earn a kind word. She was always the laughingstock, the one mocked by her stepmother, shunned by her stepsister, and avoided by everyone else. One afternoon, after a long day of insults, she went to the riverbank, sat on a flat stone, and cried until her eyes turned red. Her voice was small, but the river heard her. "God, please," she sobbed. "If only I can be beautiful, even for one day. Just one day where people will not mock me. One day where I will not be ashamed." The wind suddenly went silent. The water stopped moving. A soft, golden light appeared above the river, forming the shape of a tall spirit with calm, glowing eyes. "Why do you cry, Omasi?" the spirit asked, its voice soft like flowing water. Omasi trembled. She wiped her eyes. "I am tired of being ugly. I am tired of being mocked. I just want beauty. Even if it lasts only one day." The spirit nodded slowly. From the light, it brought out a small clay pot, decorated with tiny shining marks. "This is lotion of the river spirits," the spirit said. "Rub it on your skin each morning. But never share it with anyone." Omasi held the pot with shaking hands. "But, why me?" "Because your heart is clean," the spirit replied. "And beauty belongs to those who suffer quietly." Then the spirit vanished. Omasi opened the clay pot. A sweet, soft scent rose from it. She touched a little and rubbed it on her arm. At once, her skin began to glow. The dullness disappeared. Her arm looked smooth like river stones washed by gentle water. She gasped. The next morning, she rubbed the lotion all over her body. And something unbelievable happened. Her face changed. Her eyes brightened. Her skin glowed like sunrise. Her body filled out, no longer tiny and weak. Omasi became beautiful. beautiful in a way the village had never seen before. When she stepped into the market, people stopped talking. Women froze in the middle of their gossip. Men forgot they were chewing food. Everyone turned to stare. Some even dropped what they were holding. They couldn't believe their eyes. Omasi, the tiny, ugly maiden, was now the most beautiful woman in Oduama. From that day on, wherever Omasi went, men followed her like bees to honey. They bowed, they smiled, they whispered promises of wealth, comfort, and love. "Will you marry me, Omasi?" a wealthy trader asked. "I can give you a house, servants, and gold," another man said. Even young farmers, once cruel, now offered baskets of yams and palm wine, hoping to win her hand. But Omasi shook her head each time. Every time she remembered the mocking laughter, the splashes of water, the cruel words of the market women, and the pointing fingers of the men who never once looked her way when she was ugly. She knew they only loved her beauty, not her heart. No, she decided. She would not be a prize for their late admiration. Even the wealthiest suitor, who promised her a palace and endless riches, could not tempt her. She had suffered enough to know the difference between real love and shallow desire. One morning, a young man named Ifeanyi came to Oduama. He had recently relocated to the village to start farming. He was tall, strong, and handsome, but he had very little, no wealth, no grand house, only the land he tilled with his hands. From the first day, Ifeanyi treated Omasi differently from everyone else. He did not stare at her beauty. He did not whisper promises of gold or riches. Instead, he greeted her with a warm smile, asked if she had eaten, and offered to help her carry water from the river. Every day, he helped her with simple chores. Fetching firewood, tending the small garden, and sometimes just sitting with her under the shade of the palm trees, listening to her laugh and telling her stories of his farm. Omasi felt something she had never felt before, love that was honest, not shallow admiration. Her heart softened. One evening, under the golden sunset, Ifeanyi held her hands. "Omasi," he said softly, "I don't have wealth, I don't have gold, but I have my heart. Will you accept it, than me?" Omasi smiled, tears filling her eyes. "Yes, Ifeanyi," she whispered. "Yes, I will marry you." Their wedding was a grand celebration in the village. Neighbors, friends, and even distant relatives came to witness. The women who once mocked her bowed in respect. The men who ignored her now watched quietly, some with shame on their faces. Everything seemed perfect. Omasi had found love, happiness, and a life filled with care and respect. After their wedding, Omasi and Ifeanyi began their life together in their small, cozy home. Days were filled with laughter, care, and love. Omasi loved her husband so deeply that, little by little, she began to forget the spirit's warning. One evening, after a long day, Omasi had taken a warm bath. She sat on their bed, feeling the water droplets still clinging to her skin. Ifeanyi approached her with a soft smile. "You know," he said, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Your body looks so fresh, so beautiful today. Tonight, I want to be the one to massage you." Out of love and trust, Omasi remained quiet. She forgot everything the spirit had warned her. Ifeanyi scooped a little of the lotion into his hands and began to rub it over her body. It felt warm and soft as it spread, and Omasi closed her eyes, enjoying the touch of his hands, forgetting all caution. Then, absent-mindedly, Ifeanyi rubbed the remaining lotion onto his own hands. And at that moment, the unimaginable happened. Omasi's skin began to peel and burn, as though acid had been poured over her. Her glowing, radiant body vanished instantly. Her smooth skin started falling off in tiny flakes, revealing the tiny, ugly maiden beneath. Omasi screamed, a high, piercing cry that filled the room. Ifeanyi froze, stunned, as if he were turned to stone. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Was this a dream? A punishment from the gods? He could not move. Omasi collapsed onto the bed, crying uncontrollably. Please. I can't explain, this is my real self. I can't explain what happened. Ifeanyi's heart sank, but he did not recoil. He gently held her hands, looking into her teary eyes. Omasi. I love you. Not your beauty, not your skin. I love you, for who you are. Together, we will go through this. With his support, Omasi began to recount everything. How she had been mocked her entire life, rejected by everyone in the village, and how her heart had only wanted to be loved. How, out of despair, she had gone to the river spirit who gifted her the lotion to become beautiful. And how that beauty, though magical, had come with a dangerous condition she had now broken. Ifeanyi held her close. We will fix this, he whispered. Let's go to the river. We will face this together. The next morning, they went back to the riverbank where the spirit had appeared. Omasi knelt by the water, calling out, her voice trembling. Spirit of the river. Please. I beg you. Please forgive me. The water shimmered, and a golden light emerged, forming the goddess once again. She looked at Omasi with eyes full of wisdom and power. Child, she said gently, you are not born this way. Your beauty was never meant to last. You were made to be yourself. It was your stepmother's jealousy that made you appear ugly and miserable for many years. You sought beauty to escape pain, but now, you must embrace your true self. Omasi nodded, tears streaming down her cheeks. The goddess touched her forehead lightly, and the spell of the lotion was broken completely. Her skin returned to what it had always been, tiny, plain, and humble. But her heart felt lighter than ever. Ifeanyi smiled at her, brushing her hair softly. You are perfect to me, Omasi. Not for your skin, not for your body, but for your heart, your courage, and your love. Omasi hugged him tightly, realizing that true beauty was never in the mirror, but in the love they shared. When Omasi knelt by the river, trembling and tearful, the goddess of the river appeared in all her golden glory. She looked at Omasi with wise, calm eyes and spoke. Child, she said, you were not born ugly. It was your stepmother who stole your beauty when you were young. She exchanged it for her daughters, making you appear as you did, tiny, plain, and rejected by all. Omasi gasped. All these years, it was not me, she whispered. No wonder I was mocked, ignored, and shunned, she said, her voice trembling. The goddess nodded. Your beauty was taken, yes. But your heart remained pure. Because of your good heart and the genuine love your husband has for you, the spell can now be broken, on one condition. Omasi looked at the goddess, hope filling her eyes. What is the condition? She asked. You must become a mother, the goddess replied. Once you carry life in your womb, your true beauty will return forever. Omasi and Ifeanyi returned home, their hearts full of hope. Time passed, and Omasi soon discovered that she was pregnant. From that moment, something magical began to happen. Her glow returned, not like the temporary beauty from the lotion, but her real, permanent beauty. Her skin shone softly, her eyes sparkled with life, and her presence commanded respect and admiration, not for magic, but because she was naturally beautiful at last. Meanwhile, her stepsister, who had once enjoyed the stolen beauty, began to fade. Her face turned pale and dull. Her glow vanished, and she looked just like Omasi had looked before, the way people had mocked her. The villagers gasped as they witnessed the reversal. Ifeanyi held Omasi close, tears of joy in his eyes. Now, this is your beauty, he whispered. The beauty that comes from your heart, your courage, and your love. It lasts forever. Omasi smiled, looking at her growing belly and then at her husband. She realized that love, patience, and goodness had restored her life completely. And so, Omasi, her husband Ifeanyi, and their child lived happily ever after. Her beauty was permanent. Her heart was full. And she never forgot the lesson: true beauty is not given, stolen, or borrowed. It comes from within. Her stepsister learned the consequences of envy, and the villagers never mocked anyone again. Omasi became a symbol in the village, a reminder that love, kindness, and patience can break even the strongest spells. Please like, comment.